What are the chances that he is a bust in the NBA?
You know what's crazy about Lonzo? He's a lot like D'Angelo Russell in the sense that the projections on D'Angelo Russell, and I apologize to the people who are doing the analytics who came up with this projection, because I can't recall it off the top of my head, but the projection on D'Angelo Russell back then was he has the highest upside of anyone in the draft in terms of he's the most likely to become a superstar, comparable with Karl Anthony Towns. But he also had a big bust potential.
Yep.
Right? There are other kinds of players who go, maybe their upside isn't as high, but their downside also isn't as low. And I think Lonzo Ball, who has many of the same characteristics D'Angelo has and had, right? He's tall for the position. D'Angelo's 6'5", Lonzo's 6'6". The special thing he does is court vision and passing. Right? That's Lonzo. Make the teammates around him better. He shoots well in college, and there's a question as to whether it will translate in the pros. A lot of the same, and he may not be as athletic as the top athletic guys, but he also may have the requisite athleticism to be a great player. He's very similar to their number 2 overall pick. He's being selected second. Who wasn't point guard? Just like D'Angelo, and they've already traded D'Angelo. So the question is there bust potential? Yes, there is absolutely bust potential in Lonzo, and just like D'Angelo, he probably also has the highest upside.
Where I disagree with you is that I don't compare him to D'Angelo Russell because I'm somebody that attaches your mind, your mindset, and how you lead with the point guard position. Every position is different, and let me just explain this to both of y'all. As confident as I am, when it comes to basketball, I don't even think about it. And here's why. I learned the game from Clarence Big House Gaines and his mentor, John McClendon, one of the greatest coaches in the history of basketball, who tutored the Frank McGuires of the world, the Dean Smiths of the world, and people like that. They used to be, Coach Gaines was my coach, John McClendon, and a historian, a basketball historian, a champion, et cetera, somebody that contributed to integrating the sport of basketball, for crying out loud. They used to sit there and school me about the game of basketball, literally chalkboard, literally sitting in Coach Gaines' office teaching me the game of basketball. And then when I got into the business, the first person I covered was John Chaney out of Temple for 4 years. And then after that, every day, I covered Larry Brown, who would bring me in the back office, in the back room sometime, and literally design plays and highlight and show me what exactly they were doing, what they were trying to do. And Larry Brown, more so than anyone outside of Coach Gaines, would highlight what the job description of each player is supposed to be. That's why when I cover a team, Max, the first thing that I do when I talk to a team about their players is I ask every coach, what's the job description? Then I judge the player. Because if the player is not required to do this, then it's not a big deal. So why do I bring up all of that? Because we're talking about Magic Johnson. And when you talk to NBA scouts, which I have, and you talk to NBA personnel, which I have, you know what they say about Lonzo Ball? Stephen A., Jason Kidd. Came into the league, couldn't shoot worth a lick, but retired, one of the elite three-point shooters, et cetera, et cetera.
Jason Kidd, no J.
Right.
Yep.
What they say, that's right. So what happens? Why Lonzo? Push the ball up the floor, tremendous vision, great passer. Even though he doesn't have the girth, he does have the height. And all they talked about, however, which is why they've been saying for months, there's no way Magic is going to pass on them. Because even before he announced that he was entering the NBA draft, everybody was talking about Lonzo Ball at UCLA because of his leadership.
Yep.
And it's the one thing they don't believe D'Angelo Russell had.
That is the difference. I agree.
That is the difference.
A little size and exactly what you just mentioned.
Yes.